Yeah.
But I think we all know what we're actually here to talk about.
Yes. Yes. Here. Yeah. Here we go.
Hashtag Doomcock was right.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
So this movie, man, I cannot believe that. In my how to put it, in my worst predictions or my worst expectations for this movie, I thought that this thing was going to. I thought it was going to open high and then crash.
I thought so too. Yeah.
That was also my expectation for the Flash because we've seen movies that look kind of crowd pleasy
Hmm.
to coin a word,
Yeah.
do that type of thing before, like say Batman v Superman, which I want to say dropped like 62% its first weekend.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Let's find out. Ah, man, $82 million worth of Blu-ray and DVD sales off of that one. That's probably why they greenlit the Snyderverse.
Yeah. Yes.
But box office
Let's see. Yeah. 69.
69%. Not
Oh.
nice.
Oh. 69. Oh,
Oh
jeez.
man,
That was a bigger dip than I remembered it being. Oof.
yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, so there's been a lot of discussion. I've heard a lot of discussion about why this movie underperformed, and
Yeah. A lot of finger pointing going on at Disney.
yeah, the rumors swirling around places like Midnight's Edge are that uh, marketing is pointing the finger at Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm is pointing the finger at the marketing.
Yeah. Oh, and it just says Dawn of Justice was playing against Civil War. Yeah, that's right. That came out. I think Civil War was like 6 weeks after.
Yeah, it was very close.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I thought that was very interesting timing. That 2016, a contentious election year, uh, Marvel and DC both arranged to have movies that pitted their heroes against each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, if I had to pick between the two, I'm definitely picking Civil War over
Oh yeah,
Batman v Superman.
absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been hearing that too. A lot of they're blaming the marketing on it. Um, and it was a week after. Uh,
That's bad timing on somebody's part.
yeah, yeah, man. Um, but um, but yeah, their marketing's blaming Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm's blaming the marketing. I think, and then a lot of it too. I think is just although I think some of it's getting it back at Mangold too, because he's him being the director of the movie. Because that's usually when a movie fails this spectacularly, it usually gets put on the director's shoulders for better or worse.
Right. Which okay. So having listened to reviews of it, having thought through what are real factors versus not real factors,
Hmm.
I think that so the word woke is very overused, and I think that I think that whatever wokeness this might have has would actually be immaterial to why the movie failed.
Yeah, I haven't really heard it being especially woke. It's just I think the main problem people have with it is that they're doing the same trope with this movie that they did with like the Last Jedi um and the Force Awakens before that, where you have this aging hero that everybody loves, and you're just knocking him down a peg in favor of this of the you know Kathleen Kennedy's self-insert British woman.
Number 695.
Yeah. Um, and I think, um, and people are tired of that. I think I think WDW Pro pointed that out. They're just sick of seeing that.
Right. I think a long time ago we did a podcast where we talked about why it's okay every so often to have a story that you feel happy about at the end of it.
Yes. Ninja says I'm going on the safe assumption that everyone screwed up. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a safe assumption. Yeah.
So so let's talk about sort of some of the big takeaways. Well, actually, so some of the um, underlying things. So Indiana Jones, um, it, it kind of didn't help that they had the Crystal Skull movie as the last one before this one came out.
Yeah. Because because that movie was not very well received.
Right. I remember liking it at the time, and now I'm almost tempted to rewatch it. Now that I
I'm yeah. Well,
want
I,
to do
I'm
that as our
going
thing next week.
sure.
Okay.
Why
So
not?
yeah, but and someone pointed out, and it's been so long since I saw the movie that I only remember like certain set piece highlights, not necessarily the plot itself. Somebody
Yeah.
pointed out the movie ends with Indy and Marion together, and Shia LaBeouf set up to kind of take up the whip.
Yeah.
So this movie has to bend over backwards to undo all that.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, they do it in a very, I would really terrible way.
Also, there's just a lot of weird questions like, okay, so you're basing this on a real Greek invention that was discovered.
Hmm.
Why time travel? Of all,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. Anytime you do time travel in a story, that's going to get messy really fast. I mean, just look at Avengers Endgame, for instance.
right? That movie is Swiss cheese with time travel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The other thing is that whatever you want to say about the character of Ray and Daisy Ridley, eh, actually, let's leave Daisy Ridley out of it. She's a lovely woman who did a good job portraying the character that she was supposed to portray.
Yes.
Um, whatever you want to say about Ray, Ray had a certain charisma about her that most of the dislike of her would come as like what they call on TV tropes fridge thoughts. Like, it's sort of weird that she didn't have to do any training. It's sort of weird that they keep ping ponging whether she should care about her family or not.
Yeah.
Why does she care so much about Kylo when he literally tried to kill her best friend Finn after killing after killing Han Solo in yesterday from her perspective?
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah.
But like, meanwhile, from every review I've read and heard, Phoebe Waller-Bridge as her character is insufferable.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah. um, and Ninja brings up a couple of good points. Should have just rebooted Indiana Jones.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
uh, I mean, you could have had. I don't think they would have brought in Alden Ehrenreich after Solo bombed,
Oh no, no.
even if he probably would have done a decent job.
Yeah.
But there's other people that you could have brought in.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, yeah. See, I've had people push back on me on Chris Pratt, but Chris Pratt would have probably been chosen for the same reason that he was brought in to voice Mario because it's a safe choice.
Yeah. And he also says, when I think of Ray, I think of missed potential with good acting. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, th- so you've got that. So like you don't even have a charismatic actress in the role where you're handing off the character or handing off the whip.
Right. Yeah.
Unlike Star Wars, where it's like I never ended up hating Ray for anything in the actual movie itself. Like it was always
Yeah.
like what she represented in the story.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. Um, and well, and not only that, and this might be me sounding like a bit of a chauvinist, but she's not that. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is not that attractive.
I
To me, she's not that attractive.
I honestly haven't seen her straight on in a lot of stuff. Um, and like it's not even you could do actually that's a good point. I remember there was this bit on Family Guy where they had Peter like a cutaway gag with Peter with Shakira or was it Shakira? It was somebody like that
Yeah.
where like she does her performance and Peter says awful, just awful. You're offensive to every single sense, even taste.
Oh, oh, that was Christina Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera, that's it.
Yeah.
Um, and um, eh, and I kind of feel like if that Phoebe Waller, just from everything I've heard about the reactions to her, kind of exudes that energy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of one of the reasons why I'm like probably one of the reasons I don't want to go see this movie in the theater. That and the fact that I already know what happens.
Yeah, let's talk about that too. Hashtag Doomcock was mostly right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what from what I've heard about it, the the first 30 minutes of the movie are really good. It feels like an Indiana Jones movie. Of course, they did the deep fake of Harrison Ford,
Yep.
like making him look young. But then after that, it's just downhill from there. Like,
Yep.
he's an angry old man, and I've heard people keep referencing this scene where he knocks on the door with his neighbor's door with a baseball bat, telling him to turn the music down.
Oh, I didn't hear about that one. That's
Yeah, I heard that one on
that's kind of
WDW
sad.
Pro. Yeah, and he and Marion are getting a divorce, or they are divorced. Their
Shia,
son, you know,
Shia LaBeouf is dead.
Shia LaBeouf's dead. Yeah, he dies in Vietnam. Um, and then he's retiring from his job, and he's got nothing going for him. And then you know Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who's like his goddaughter, shows up, and stuff happens, and
Yeah. Yep. So the other thing is that perhaps now, okay. So how much of this is the script? How much, or the scriptwriter? How much is this James Mangold? James Mangold like seems to tell a particular type of story a lot of the time,
yeah.
like Logan.
I,
Well,
I yeah.
was Logan? What was the last one?
Yeah, Logan. Yeah,
Okay,
he did Logan, and then he did the Wolverine before that.
okay, and I gotta say I liked the Wolverine more than I liked Logan.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm kind of in the minority there, but I think part of it was that well I didn't like seeing Wolverine die, and they didn't do a
Oh,
good job making me care about X-23 and her fate.
oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I liked of course, the Wolverine. It was the him in Japan, that story arc, which that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was like a pretty good retelling of that old Chris Claremont story
Yeah,
with Silver Samurai.
yeah. I've only seen the PG-13 cut. I haven't seen the whatever R-rated cut yet.
Oh, I forgot there was that even.
Yeah. Ninja Toe says, "Why are they divorced? Why are they divorced?"
Good question.
Good question.
Now, the one thing that didn't happen from Doomcock's original leaks was there was not a bit where uh, Harrison Ford died in the past and then Phoebe replaced him at all points in history.
Yeah,
But multiple people have said, did they reshoot that ending? So it's possible that he was right at one point.
yeah. There's possibly like two other endings that they did in addition to the one that they put into the movie.
Yeah, so it's very strange. Um, the other thing is that we talked before about how we kind of expected this to open big and then plummet.
Mhm.
Do you think that people just aren't giving movies the benefit of the doubt anymore? Like that seems to be like like what we're just seeing over and over again this summer.
I think you might have. I think you might be onto something there. Yeah, because yeah, because a lot of these, we've been seeing it here. A lot of these major tentpole movies, like nobody just cares about them anymore.
Right. Like I would say that the kind of the first signs of it this year were Ant-Man and Dungeons and Dragons,
Hmm.
where like a lot of smaller things like Air and a few other movies along that were different along those lines made good money.
Yeah,
Creed 3 had good reviews, and everybody, people had received the previous Creed movie as well, so they showed up.
right.
They aren't necessarily showing up. And let's see, is there anything that's actually totally original that has been a blockbuster this year? Not that I can think of. Like they'd all be successes relative to a small budget.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Not. I mean, the biggest grossing movie the year so far is Mario, and that's not
Right.
original. That's a
Right.
you know. But no, I don't think I can't think of any.
Yeah. But like it's like if people hear mixed things, it's like, well, we got inflation in the economy to worry about, so we're not spending $100 to go take the kids and buy popcorn.
Right. Yeah.
So like the big successes, so it's like you got the Flash. I don't think that I don't think that even in a world where Ezra Miller had an exemplary record,
Yeah.
that the like I think that Ezra Miller's nonsense probably knocked it might have prevented it from having $100 million opening, which would have still been a drop in the bucket for its actual budget.
Yeah. Because yeah, that movie had a $300 million budget.
Yeah. And also a lot of these costs were just stupid high because of, well, the pandemic.
Hmm.
You suddenly have to do all this COVID stuff and extra cleanings. The actors can't get too close to each other. uh,
Right. And yeah.
Shutdowns on the set if somebody tests positive.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
could,
And
so,
yeah.
and that explains a lot of these movies that have been coming out recently, I think.
Yeah, and yeah, and Indiana Jones was done during the pandemic, and
Hmm.
you had all that stuff, and then on top of that, Harrison Ford got hurt when they were
Right.
making it.
At least, yeah, what broke his foot?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so you wonder if maybe some of the costs are going to come down uh, for upcoming movies just because they don't have to deal with that. Like,
yeah,
it occurs to me this is kind of the backlog from COVID because we didn't see a whole lot of new releases last year. That's part of
right,
why Top Gun was able to clean up so much.
right, yeah, and Ninja asks if streaming might have something to do with it.
Right. Like,
Probably, yeah,
I know that there's a few that I've let slip through the cracks just because of that very thing.
yeah. Same here. I mean, I think actually most of the movies on this list right here are like, I'll wait till streaming.
Yeah, Guardians 3, if I have some spare time this weekend, I might finally venture out there to see it.
Mm,
But I don't know that I will have time this weekend is the problem.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just like generally sad all around. I as much as I sometimes want to celebrate when Disney has an off moment because it's like, yeah, look what you keep ruining my childhood franchises. You get what you deserve.
yeah,
And I think part of that is why I kind of have to go, okay, so I'm going to just bring up Bud Light, just not to comment on on the properness of the boycott one way or the other.
mm,
But I think that there is a segment of the population that is actually deciding, you know what, we're not going, we're not going to stick with our, in the past we always complained and then gave up 2 weeks later, went right back to it.
right,
That's over.
hmm,
And Disney has been, rightly or wrongly, painted with a target for that.
right. Yeah.
But I can't say that, was Paramount painted with that? Was I mean, Rise of the Pink Ladies had some woke elements, but nobody knew it existed, so it's
Yeah.
not like anybody complained about it. Uh,
Right. Yeah.
was Warner Brothers painted with that? Was oh was Universal painted with that? Not really. No, Disney's getting special attention. And so, like,
Mm.
if it was a situation where every Disney movie was flopping, but everybody else is
Okay.
doing well, then I could attribute it to that.
Yeah, but everybody's doing poorly.
Unless you come out with something that looks like it's exciting. And we even talked about this Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It had a moribund opening weekend, but it compared to other uh, Marvel movies, it's like it came in at 118 million opening weekend, which basically double the Flash,
Hmm.
which is still an underperformance for a movie that cost 250 to make,
Yeah.
but it's got 3 times legs a couple months out.
Right.
That's that positive word of mouth.
Yeah.
So
And looks like it broke even at the very least. Which
yeah, that one hopes that broke even when it
yeah.
made 838 million. It
Yeah.
also surpassed Thor: Love and Thunder, so good on it.
Yes. Yeah. Um but
But
yeah.
like this is a box. This is not like a big break, huge drop. This is a big break and then word of mouth spreading, and it's having it never has dropped more than 50% week over week in its local performance.
Yeah.
So I think that what we might be seeing here, and this has been eroding for a while, there's always been a certain subset of moviegoers who show up for show up at the theater and ask the attendant, "Hey, what's good this week?"
Hmm.
I think that this is like the science of people being more choosy about their dollars because, well, you do have streaming.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we are saying, the economy isn't really great right now. Inflation's really high. And people don't have, yeah, like you were saying, they don't have the disposable income to spend $100 to go to the movies.
Unless it's something really special.
Hmm.
Or I occasionally have done this math. Would I rather spend $20 going to the theater, or would I rather wait for it to come out on Blu-ray and own it and be able to watch it over and over again, if I so choose?
Yeah,
Which I'm a nut because I actually still buy physical media occasionally, but,
well, I do too. Yeah,
but yeah, like this is a strange summer, and it'll be interesting to see. I have a feeling, like a gut feeling, that Mission Impossible might get some better results off of their good vibes from Top Gun Maverick.
hmm,
But even that doesn't feel as guaranteed as it did to me like a few months back. Because I was expecting a world where we were talking about, oh yeah, Flash came out to 100 million, 150 million, but boy, once everyone actually saw it, it dropped off a cliff. Or
yeah,
Indiana Jones opened to 100 million, but or 120, 150 million, but dropped off a cliff.
yeah,
Like, again, that the benefit of the doubt is gone.
yeah. Um, I don't know. I have I have some optimism for Mission Impossible. I think it won't be Top Gun Maverick
No, I don't think
numbers,
so.
but it'll do well. I think it'll do well enough. And you got you know uh, people actually kind of the thing with Tom Cruise is that he's making movies that people want to go see,
Yeah,
and he and not only that, the Mission Impossible movies for the most part are pretty solid action spy thrillers.
I want to imagine somebody bringing him a Jake Skywalker type script to him for it's like, okay, it's time to close out the Mission Impossible series, or you're part of the Mission Impossible series. But so we've got Brie Larson here. She's going to to outdo you in every turn. Uh, and that script would be thrown in their faces, and they'll be told to get out
Yeah.
because
He'll
he is
yeah.
heavily invested in his characters.
Oh yeah, yeah. He'll turn into less gross and be like, "Get out of here!"
But yeah, I now as a kind of a sidebar issue,
Mm.
uh, just so I don't think that Indiana Jones is going to get that elemental word of mouth